biggest weakness sort of being that push for vision. I feel that GAM are pretty happy without that big engage. They can control areas so well and make it just really difficult for ASC.
Ooh, I don't think we're going to get a chance for predictions. We're going to jump onto the rift just as fast as possible. If both of you want to give one word answer same time right now, who wins?
GAM.
GAM.
Okay, we have our predictions jumping into game number 1 as we have one of our longest standing duos ready to take the plate here as GAM kicks off against ASE. Carix, and you'll play.
Well, back in my day, Levi was known as a Kha'Zix main, but Kaji has been caught out as he has to immediately burn his flash. But I'm going to go back to it. As Rebel said, we are one of the longest standing duos here on VCS English. We've got Levi back on Kha'Zix. We've got Ash being picked. It feels like they're catering to us old men.
Yeah, but on the other hand, Riot just try to attack us with these patches, no? They looked at VCS and saw our statistics. We were like, no, this can't continue. We need to put a damper on it. We need to actually put some things in place to prevent VCS from having more than 1 kill per minute. But I believe we can overcome all these odds. We can overcome even the durability patch and just continue with our craziness, because I would not expect anything else from the VCS teams.
Of course not. We love our fighting. We love our aggression. And we want more of it. But we are into the game. We have GAM coming off their first loss in a long, long time when they went up against SBTC. Of course, ASE, very different caliber of opponent. I think we can mostly agree on that. But still, do you think maybe there's a bit of a mental thing coming in? They haven't lost in so long.
Potentially. I'm still looking at their draft here, and I'm a little bit confused as to their meta read. Tahm Kench, Ashe, bot lane? Very unusual. Tahm Kench is basically only seen with Senna right now, for very good reasons, but I mean, it's not a bad champion. But then again, they're also playing Elio over B, who was basically put up by their coach as the best player in the league. Heinke had so many nice things to say about B, and B really established himself as the main shot caller of the team. Now it's the second series, and he's out. That is very, very, I wouldn't say worrying, but just curious, I guess.
It reads, so I will say one thing, is that before the split started, I did a tier list with Milky Cereal, one of our other casters, and when I posted it on Twitter, because I didn't rank Elio, because we kind of said we're probably just not going to rank subs. We don't think they're going to play. So I didn't put Elio in, and Hanke said, "Why haven't you put Elio in?" And I said, "Well, we said we didn't want to put people in who aren't going to see play." As Hugh has found Levi, but he'll just hop over the wall, no problem. And then Hanke said, before the split even started, Elio will play. So I think it's just they want to give the rookie a bit more of a run. ASE is a good team to do it against. Obviously, it looks bad that they're coming off a loss, but I don't think there's anything to read into there.
Yeah, and I think we are going to give ASE as much time as they deserve, the more they show on this game, but I think it's fair for us as VCS, long-standing VCS followers, as fans of the best team in the league, in GAM as well, to focus a little bit more on GAM and actually look at their solo laners in particular, and also, I'd say, their top side in particular, because as Clockwork and Marby pointed out on the desk, their solo laners had a stink of a series 2 days ago. They were really bad, especially Kiaya got solo killed over and over again. Kati for me was more a non-factor than actually being very bad. He was just not really doing much. And then Levi with some interesting picks, not the greatest performances either. You said you know him as a Kha'Zix main. Oh, we might have a first gank. This is dangerous.
Yeah. Ooh, the W doesn't quite land. Playcool actually going extremely low, so Kati navigates that one very well, considering he didn't have a flash.
Very well. But yeah, you said Levi was known as a Kha'Zix main, and I kind of had the same feeling, but I checked his career stats, and he's only played 12 games of Kha'Zix. Not even that great of a win rate, considering he's playing...
It's more that he pulls it out in big games and then loses.
Yeah, it's not the most successful champion for his team or himself as a player. Only 7 wins to 5 losses, which sounds great, but he's on GAM. They usually go 90% win rate, so only a 57% win rate on one of the champions he considers maybe a pocket pick. It's not actually boding that well, considering all the other win rates he has in store. So yeah, I'm not too convinced. Personally, I'm a hater of Kha'Zix as well. So, not entirely sure what he's trying to do, just going back to farming. And honestly, this GAM team, we have a Kha'Zix, we have a Corki, we have an Ashe to neutralize lanes, so they're not really looking for early action, they're just trying to scale up. They know they're the better late game team, even in their losses against SPTC, which is a much better team than AS. They looked very comfortable in the late game and actually made comebacks almost happen, even from behind. So I think GAM knows they're the better late game team. They don't want to risk anything. They're just going for scaling, going for team fights, which, yeah, in this matter, certainly a viable win strategy. Not the most exciting though.
Speaking of the Ashe, obviously you questioned the bot lane picks. You brought up the Tahm Kench being quite weird. Do you think the Ashe is just a Kalista counter? Because obviously Ashe with the slows does make Kalista's life pretty hellish.
It's a really good melee matchup. Can just also provide extra vision control, which I think is quite good into a super active mid jungle of LeBlanc and Viego. As long as you can just keep them honest and delay the game, give Levi time to scale. Yeah, why not add an Ashe in there with the ease controlling the jungle matchup as well. So I really like the Ashe. I think Ashe is a very decent pick right now in terms of win rate and solo queue. She's sitting in a comfortable 51%, I believe. But Levi has overstepped his welcome.
He absolutely has. He tries to go over the wall, but first blood will be given over to Hyo.
That was a really stupid play. He wanted to abuse the fact that ASE went for Dragon, but the Dragon was down almost a minute ago, so he just completely misread the situation and overstepped his welcome into the enemy jungle. Another bad death from Levi. What is happening to the jungler king of Vietnam? Not the greatest start to a split ever.
All dynasties must come to an end eventually, your way. Perhaps we are seeing the end of the Levi Empire. But of course, much too early to call that. One boneheaded decision does not a career ender spell. But still, this does mean ASE is off to a good start. They're still actually behind in gold. Mostly just coming from the bot lane where Style has been absolutely manhandling Easy Love. Very little that Easy Love can actually do in this matchup, as we touched on earlier. But the matchup I want to talk about, even though we haven't seen much of it so far, is actually top lane. LLT kind of throwing down the gauntlet. He picked the Irelia into the Gnar. He thinks he's good enough to do it.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Just Kiaya had a better early week. You're a new top laner. Probably have looked up to Kiaya for quite some time because he has been the best top laner for ages now. So in your opening game into Kiaya, Irelia counter pick, last pick, confidence from the team. Love to see that. Let's see if he can actually do something with it, because so far it's only even CS, and yes, Irelia will not start losing suddenly, but Gnar is still the better team fighter, I'd say. Oh, Kiaya though, he's only mini.
Kiaya
his team's coming.
Out, doesn't get the double hop, has the flash, there's the cut. Oh, and look at that, the long range arrow comes in as well. They're going to try and turn this one around. LLT taking very low. Hyo heart breaks, Spectral Maws, but goes down. And they're flashing forward. They want LLT as well. They've got the Mega Gnar to try and do something. LLT cleans up the wave, but knows that's all he can do as GAM fire back with 2.
And epically, the kills go over to the two solo laners that caught so much flag from the first series, and justifiably so. They had a really bad series, but this is their comeback series here with 2 kills over to the 2 solo laners. Kiaya able to get away from the CC. That was crucially, he dodged the W, the Spectral Maul, from Viego. And even though LRT hits his E, they don't have the damage to immediately burst him down, even in mini form. Really nice collapse from GAM. The rest of them are all here, especially impressed by Elio reading the situation coming up there. I think they swapped bot lane in order to go for Herald anyway, so a little bit of a misguided engage maybe from ASE, because they should be aware that the bot lane is coming, considering it's 8 minutes onto the clock. The Herald is spawning, so yeah, maybe playing without thinking too much about the future. Just one little Gnar on their screen, they immediately wanted to pounce on him, but yeah, consequences are dire. Now GAM in full control of the game, almost 2k gold lead, with the Herald, with the Dragon. Oh no, the Dragon actually went over to AC, my apologies.
Yeah, that was earlier.
But yeah, great opening for GAM, and they're so comfortable just scaling up, especially with Carti on this Corki in the mid lane.
Yeah, 100%. This is obviously not something we're super used to from GAM. GAM, always the team that wants to dive their bot lane. They want to try and get these early leads. We actually used to call them the Herald-phobic team because they just never got first Herald. They only really cared about first Dragon. But it's good to see a change of playstyle. It's good to see them adapt. You know, this is a team that we're looking at potentially, obviously it's very early to say, but potentially sending to Worlds. And if you've only got one playstyle, that's just not really good enough.
Totally. Yeah, and I think in the players, they already changed their playstyle towards being a little bit more top-focused or Herald-focused a little bit. The insane Dragon stats were mostly for regular season, so I believe... Oh, Kiaya, he's mega. Can he get away from here?
I don't think so. The Spectral Maw lands. He has access to the Gnar rather, but well buffered there by Hyo with that Heartbreaker. One more hit will do it. The Spectral Maw will be enough. But on the other side of the map, we do see a tower going down. So gold-wise, it is still GAM very favored.
Yeah, GAM winning on the other side, but it's a good punish anyway. They just go back to Kiaya. They know he has no flash, and actually it's easier to start the fight against Mega Gnar, because he can't make as much distance, and you don't really have to think about the threat of him turning into Mega Gnar, so you basically work with the whole HP bar there. Levi, I think he can hide behind these minions. There he is. The Kha'Zix is actually quite fun to watch, I think, even though I really dislike the champion conceptually. But this Ghost Kha'Zix makes him much more vulnerable in the early game to invades, because if he doesn't have his jump, he can actually be caught out quite easily. Very good timing. There's not much to say. It's just very good timing from Hyo, very good punish into the pushing wave. They know everything is focused on the bot side. For GAM, they just dropped the Herald. So it's just perfect timing, and Kiaya should have respected weak side a little bit more there.
Yeah, I do think the Heartbreaker from Hyo was very good as well. Just want to give some mechanical shout-outs to our rookies. If he'd been knocked away by that Gnar, there's a chance Kiaya gets out. So good on him for that one. Which is what we want. Overall, though, as we've been saying, GAM is still very, very comfortable. They do have the scaling draft. The Callista from Easy Love is going to get harder and harder to play into this comp. And Carti with an interesting package. Didn't really need it in the end.
Well, sometimes you shouldn't force it under... Like, if you can't see a play, it's probably safer to just scale. He can use one later. He's going for the very slow scaling build that just gives him a lot of safety with the early Hex Drinker. Of course, we've seen Hex Drinker kind of re-emerge as a Corki item into a lot of the Assassin or stronger burst AP champions. In Winter, he really didn't go for Hex Drinker much. He just went straight to his AP build. But now the Corki was nerfed a little bit more, has less AD to work with, just a little bit slower in the scaling department. He likes to go for more safety. And I mean, he's getting all the time he needs. GAM is just dominating everything here.
Yeah, they're taking this mid tower without any answer so far from ASE. They come in just to stop it right before it does fall. Of course, the tower very, very tanky. It is still before 14 minutes after all. So at the moment, it's really just LLT with any kind of real lead. There's a slight CS lead for Playcool, but that is completely counterfeited by the kill and the tower plates that Carti has. How does this Irelia actually become a point of power for ASE, or are things looking really dire?
Yeah, they're not looking great. I wouldn't say they're dire yet. Hyo is also quite a point of power, and
That's true.
Hyo hasn't ever lost a professional game on Viego. Only played 3, but still, it's a streak. It's something you can find comfort in. You can always look back and say, I've never lost on this kind of stage with this champion, so maybe he can repeat some of that performance. And I'd say, so far, a good performance from Hyo in that regard as well. But back to the Irelia point. Irelia is always a little bit of a strange champion. We've seen amazing team fights from people like Hasmid, right? Hasmid, legendary Irelia player, just able to make... any form of flank actually stick. Usually she doesn't really want to go into teamfights, especially into annoying champions of the like of Ashe or Tahm Kench. So I expect her to try and play more towards side lane. The problem is side laning from behind is kind of hard to do. So I would like to see them double down on trying to kill Kiaya. Kiaya hasn't looked comfortable and this whole weekend. Oh, Elio.
He's Tahm Kench. He has a flash. He gets on out of there. But still, very little investment there from Hyo. So far, I am impressed by Hyo. I think he's been in the right place at the right time, which is very, very different to Series 1. Now they're going to go in and engage. Elio immediately gets burst out. A stun comes in from Ash, which allows Levi to get the jump over the wall, but it's another good pick. This should get them a Herald. Good stuff from the ASC jungler.
Yeah, very nicely done. We have to put a little bit of blame on GAM's communication there, even though it's just a very good punish from ASC, but GAM also, Elliot just blew his flash. Your Kazakhs cannot really defend him either, so why are you even poking your head into the river? I understand you want to go for river control into Herald, because Herald would open up maybe a second tower or even break the top lane outer, but this actually cost them so much tempo now. A lot of gold back to ASE, but yeah.
In they come, the Valkyrie forward from Cardi. Everfrost will hold him back, but he's about to have that Mega Gnar, and Cardi flashes forward immediately into a hook, but the Callista Fate's Call will get Xin to safety. They do manage to defuse that play.
Yeah, and once again, a good punish from AC on the other side. Top lane and jungle seem to work together very nicely. I'm impressed by LLT and Hyo's synergy, so maybe that's something we need to keep our eyes on for the rest of the split. We don't know much about this team, to be fair. They're very new, they have a lot of new players, and the history in the VCS with rookie teams, I mean, it's not a full rookie team, but they have a lot of young players and returning players. Yeah, 3 rookies in this case. 2T almost counts like a rookie too, so basically 2 different rookie set of players. Yeah, we never know how good they can be. SGB in spring 2021, suddenly they were among the best players of the league, so maybe Hyo and LLT can channel that kind of performance too. I'm rather impressed with them in this game, I have to say.
In this game, for sure, I think Hyo in particular is super jumping out at me. We did see LLT picking up a tower while that scuffle was going on, and with this Mountain Drake now on the map, ASE, they're in the position of power around it, but GAM looks like they want to have something to say.
I'm a little bit low on summoner spells. Let's... Okay, Xin with the engage.
Oh, Xin moving in, finds an engage, but he goes incredibly low immediately. On the side, it's LLT, goes into the middle of GAM, but look how tanky he is with that W, trying to find a way out. It does not exist. And now it is GAM running forward there, Transcendent. The Dragon will go over to Hyo, but it just doesn't matter because the rest of them are being cut on down. And ASC are wiped away from the map.
It's a horrible, horrible engage. So much was lacking from the side of ASE. They just don't have the damage. They don't have the focus into Tam Kench team, into so many things that can just thwart the engage, and then LLT and Hyo just a little too far forward. Look at this engage. It hits Tam Kench. That's the perfect scenario. Playcool is out of the game. Very nice zoning and marking from Kiaya. Playcool is contributing nothing to this fight. Look at him. He's just scrambling around the sides. He's trying to find anything there, and the sad, sad side of Callista, not even a Callista that's ahead, just trying to poke little holes in the Gnar. Nothing happened there. So the Callista is basically out of the commotion already for the whole game. She can't contribute anything anymore, especially in comparison to the other 2 ADCs in this game, if we count Corki as an ADC. So they can't rely on their bot lane. Their mid lane is not strong enough really to do much either. I don't think team fighting is the way to go for ASE. Try to play through your side lane strength and your CC and pick ability, and don't go for 5v5s.
Yeah, but that is so difficult for a rookie team to do. Because it puts so much pressure on your shot caller, because you need to be feinting moves with your 4-man and drawing GAM to defend to allow LLT to get things done. I mean, if they pull it off, it'll be even if they don't end up winning, if they do a few good moves in that sense, I'll be super impressed with them. But putting a rookie team on that, it's a rough position your way.
Oh, for sure. And this is why Clockwork pointed out that he likes the gutsy move of putting this draft together, basically throwing down the gauntlet with the top and mid lane matchups, and even the Callista early pick, though that was neutralized rather easily. But it's a gutsy draft, and it has shown some signs of life, some signs of very good laning, especially, which is always good to see. But it might not be enough this early in the split to really contest GAM. The game is just a little too comfortable for the champions of the league. They're 4k gold ahead, they outscale super heavily, especially through mid lane, and their 5v5 is stronger. So it's really hard to see a way back for ASE into the game. They basically need GAM to overstep, maybe Levi on one of his famous dive adventures.
Ooh, play cool, moves forward, but it doesn't go particularly well. The Nautilus ult is neutralized as well. And with that Herald spawn, I think that was just it's timing out. I have to drop it. GAM will stop it immediately. ASE will lose a tower. And look, I think this game might be a little bit too far gone as an Ash Arrow lands in and Nautilus sent back to death. LLT, you are far too far forward there, mate. Gets Nard into the middle of the enemy team. Levi will pick himself up a lovely little kill. And now a second tower is on the chopping block. Though Levi does go very low. Play cool can't find him. Inhib will go down. Oh, Cardi's confident. He's moving forward, trying to take down Easy Love. A little bit too confident there as he does not dodge away from the play cool damage. He does actually play it very cool as ASE, they lose their base, but at least they got a consolation prize.
Yeah, and at this point, we're mostly thinking about Game 2. We saw some glimpses of hope. ASE is not a dead team. They're not Flash in winter. They have competent laners. They're not actually falling behind that much. I mean, to be fair, their average is minus 3k, but still, their laners individually are doing fine, and that's the most important thing you have to have in a tier 1 league, to actually have competent laners, because if you're behind every game, it just puts you in such a bad spot to win any games. There are some teams that can win from behind multiple times a season, but it's always better to be even or ahead, especially if you want to play skill check champions like the Irelia, to some extent the LeBlanc as well. So I still have hope for this team. I don't really see them winning a game today, to be perfectly honest, but you never know. And it's always just nice to look at these new players trying to just acclimate themselves to the tier 1 league feeling, because a lot of these players are very new, so we should cut them some slack. And I think in terms of mechanics, we can definitely see some potential here.
Ooh, LLT has been caught out. That tongue lash from Elio will spell his doom. The slow was there. He tries to turn something around, but obviously no hope, and Star will pick himself up a kill. I completely agree with you. I think in this game so far, I've been pretty impressed with Hyo. I think after Series 1, there were maybe some concerns about him. But after this game, up against GAM, okay, sure, might not be enough to get you across the line, but I'm still fairly impressed as Cardi has come in with a teleport with the package. Zin trying to turn it around immediately onto him, but Cardi's just going to rip across them. No, never mind. He uses it to just retreat as the rest of Kiaya and the boys come in from the north. Easy Love will be the next one to go down to the boomerang of Nah. Hyo trying to get his way out of there. We'll use the Spectral Maw to do it. Oh no, but here's a TP. It's Kiaya, Hyo! Did you think I'd forgotten? No, he hasn't. That top lane gank rankled him, evidently, and that'll get GAM a Baron.
Yeah, now it's basically just victory lap after victory lap. Very nicely done. Cardi's experimenting with Corki a bit. The funny thing is, I actually checked his stats, and Corki was actually really high up in my mind, because there was one very, very impressive and important game of GAM playing Corki, and that was the first game of Winter Finals against Cerberus. Corki had just emerged as kind of the counter to Victor, or maybe more an answer than a counter, and very new still in the VCS context. Carti picked it in game 1, carried the game against Cerberus, the favorites back then, and then it was banned every single game against Carti for the rest of the series. And do you know something, Kerix? He never played this champion again. He has only one professional game on Corki. I was super shocked when I checked this, but he has looked very comfortable on this champion, and now, well, he's testing his limits a little bit more, and why not? They're 11-4 in kills, they're almost 10k gold ahead. The game's over. They can't lose any 5v5s, so it's also good to see Carti stepping back into carry positions and showing us a good performance in Series 2.
Absolutely, and obviously Cardi is someone that we need to keep an eye on, with a potential return of another elite mid laner in the form of Dia1. Obviously their first matchup, very in the Dia favour, but you know, there will be a second one, and we obviously want it to be a rivalry worthy of the name, as the second inhibitor will fall. This is just GAM kind of walking it in. The arrow will miss over onto Playcool. He goes golden, but it will buy merely moments before this LeBlanc is sent to the Shadow Realm. Oh, never mind. A little bit of juking, a little bit of dodging, and Cardi burns the flash to take him down as the rest of GAM sieges on towards the base. This is what we expect from our top team. We expect them to very easily beat these lower level teams like ASC, as Hyo has to heartbreak away. the towers are falling. But overall, this seems like a return to comfort, a return to perhaps a little bit of happiness for GAM, as they will have a last little crack. The Nexus is under siege. LLT doing everything he can, but he's cut in half by Kha'Zix, and the Nexus will explode.